Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grim Flayer, and I hope you are all doing well on this fine day. I know that you are asking out there, what on earth am I looking at? What kind of an unholy mess is the deck that I'm looking at? And I will tell you. So, first of all, I'm always trying to give full disclosure on this channel, right? Always trying to be perfectly honest with you. And the honest truth is that my results this month with my stock list have not been that good compared to last month. Last month was a very nice month. I went 26-9 in competitive leagues, and I believe that's my best month on record, or at least my best month in a while. This month it's more like I'm breaking 500 overall. I've got a whole lot of 3 and 2s and a couple of 1 and 4s in there, bringing the averages down. So I've continued to consistently cash leagues, but I have, the success of last month has eluded me, and I only made one change. It was getting a surgical into my sideboard in place of a Nissa, which I think is definitely not the reason I haven't been doing as well. So the results have still been fine, but given that and given how excited I am for War of the Spark and then Modern Horizons, it's all begun to feel just a tad stale lately. So I am going to bring you at least one more competitive league this month, probably in replay form, because I know some people miss that. But for now, we're going to take another deviation from the norm, and we are doing something for fun here, but we're still going to play it in a league to see how well we can do. So, this is Golgari Highlander, and I will link the video that I'm about to explain in the description. About a while back, 5-6 months, I believe, Reed Duke did a Sultai Highlander video where he was like, this is going to be a fun change of pace, and it's going to allow me to test fringe cards. But Reed let himself cheat a little bit, and he played full 4 Fatal Push. So we are going to try to one-up Reed here, and not only are we not playing any spells as 4-ofs, we also only have 2 colors to choose from, right? Where he's choosing from 3. So for those who don't know, Highlander is basically you play a maximum of 1 copy of any card. Now sometimes that can apply to the land base as well. As you can see, I'm obviously not doing that. That's a little bit harder to pull off. We don't want to just completely lose to our land base, right? So we've got a pretty normal land base with a little bit of spice in there as well, but then we've got this beautiful mess of 36 one-ofs and 15 different one-ofs in our sideboard. So I'm going to do a quick deck tech, and then we are going to play this through a friendly league. So looking at the land base, it is very similar to what I run in my actual list, with a couple of differences. Number one, I'm only playing 2 Fields of Ruin because I want my mana base to be really consistent here, because we need double black at least as much as we always have, plus we need double green on turn 3 more often, and we might even need green earlier than usual as well. So to that end, I have included both Twilight Mire and Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, replacing a Field of Ruin and a Marsh Flats, because those help filter my lands in the case of Twilight Mire, or just get more black mana in general in the case of Urborg. Plus, it's a really cool land. Plus, there's a little bit of a synergy Urborg has with Funeral Charm. If we can Swamp Walk for the win, thanks to Urborg one of these games, I will be so happy. I will be so happy. So, let's take a look at the spells. We're going to start off by looking at the threats at the creature count. We have Bob, Goyf, Scooz, Tracker, all things you know and love, the core cards, but this threat suite is where we have to reach a little bit more than any other form of spell here, because, most of our threats are 3 or 4-ofs, and that's for a good reason, because we don't really need to dip into alternative ones. First off, we have a main deck Kitchen thinks it's just a really good value play. Obviously, it's not great to main deck in every match, but it's better than some of the other stuff we're going to be playing. Kalidas, of course, is very main deckable. Tasigur is an old friend to the channel. We used to play the Tasigur build with No Dark Confidant, so we're bringing Tasigur back, seeing how he treats us. Then we have a Liliana Heretical Healer. This is just an extreme value piece, 2/3 lifelink for 3. Death trigger that turns her into a planeswalker and gets us a zombie. So she's a little clunky. We don't necessarily have the built-in synergies like sack outlets or anything, but she could prove to be very viable here. considering the restriction, and of course just very cool, right? Just very cool. Ishkana Graf Widow is a viable inclusion in real Golgari decks, but it is definitely a sideboard card. Again, however, here we've got to make do with the one-ofs, so we're playing a main deck. Same with Eternal Witness, good fringe playable card, really nice solid value one-of, and that's exactly what we want her here for here. Moving on, we're reaching even further. We're playing a Skin Shifter. We wanted, a lot of the other threats are 3, 4, or 5 drops. We had to keep our curve low, so we are playing a Skin Shifter, because we've got to have those proactive turn 2 plays, and nothing's more proactive in Modern than Skin Shifter. It's pretty cool, though. For 1 mana, once a turn, becomes a 4/4 Trampler, or a 2/2 Flyer, or a 0/8 Plant. So, good times. Even spicier is Honored Hierarch. So a principle of mid-range decks is that you don't really play mana dorks, at least with these black-based ones, because you want all of your top decks to be threats. You want all of your top decks to be live, and while the mana dorks can help you accelerate in the early game, they make for bad top decks. So what did we do? Well, we picked the mana dork that can also double as a threat. And of course, it's a very slow and clunky mana dork compared to even something like Birds of Paradise, which I considered. But you know what? We've got to have our ability to go to war even with the mana dork. So Honored Hierarch gets the nod. And then last but certainly not least, it has been way too long since the Grim Flayer cast a Grim Flayer on this channel, so we are of course playing the one-of Flayer. Very, very excited about that, my friends. Moving on to the Hand Disruption, we of course have Inquisition and Thoughtseize and Collective Brutality. The modal spell here, we'll still put it in the Hand Disruption category. Then we have Blackmail. Blackmail is, in my opinion, the third most main deckable discard spell. Of course, Duress sees a lot more play than Blackmail, and rightfully so, but Duress is definitely more of a sideboard card, in my opinion. Modern is the creature format. And you know what? Blackmail is not even strictly worse than any of the discard spells. There are windows where it's the best one you could have. Thinking specifically of big mana decks, of Tron, of Valakut, of Amulet, maybe Control. Sometimes if they've got like half a hand left anyway, they're down to 3 or 4 cards, Blackmail is going to be really nice because you can take a land if that makes sense. Obviously it's not as good as the other ones on turn 1, which is where we want our discard, but very spicy. I love this card. And then Funeral Charm combos with Urborg to give our stuff Swamp Walk, kills an X1, instant speed discard, we can play it on the draw step. This card's good. It's good. Definitely good enough to make this list anyway. Moving on to our removal, our spot removal, we have Fatal Push, Decay, Trophy, Maelstrom Pulse, all the things we expect. Then we have some stuff that's a little more spicy. Shriekmaw is pretty cool because it's basically a sorcery speed terror that doubles as an evasive threat if you find it in the late game, so that's kind of cool. Cast Down, a very serviceable piece of spot removal, and Disfigure for yet another 1 mana kill spell. Of course, it can only kill X1s and X2s, but you know what? Instant speed, the minus, it does have a lot going for it. So we're playing those. Moving on to the Planeswalkers, we've, of course, 1 Lily, 1 Last Hope, 1 Lily Veil, 1 Lily Last Hope. Vraska Golgari Queen, as you might have seen my recent Donation League video, she had a nice cameo at the end. We hope to see more of her here. Nissa Vital Force, very strong in the deck, definitely more of a sideboard card, but again, in this situation, with us being a little light on threats anyway, playing her main deck is fine. And then rounding out the Planeswalker suite is Garruk Relentless. This is basically the dream is to be ahead on board, play the Garruk, kill a creature, transform, and then go off from there, whether it's making a bunch of wolves or doing whatever else. But the fact that Garruk can come down and kill a creature and can help us go wide, depending on the situation, I think he was a good fit for this deck. Then moving on to the more, utility spells, basically we have, of course, a Nile Spellbomb, very main deckable in the meta right now anyway. Golgari Charm, a very playable card, but definitely more of a sideboard piece in a regular deck, but again, in this situation, we're just going to main deck it. It's flexible enough. That's where we're at. We're going to give it a shot. Shadow of Doubt, very spicy, very good blowout potential against Scape Shift, against just even a fetch land on curve, all kinds of other stuff, and it cantrip. So the ceiling of this card is extremely high. It's a little too cute to see consistent play, and the double black is a little bit strenuous on the mana base sometimes, but very, very high ceiling on that card. Rounding out the deck, we have a little bit of some consistency tools. We have Oath of Nissa, which is basically just going to hit creature, land, or planeswalker, which, like, I think the interaction in this deck is the strongest point. The weakest point is probably finding a threat, or finding the correct threat, or the correct value piece. Or, just not hitting our land drop. So Oath of Nissa can help do all of those things. It's an enchantment, so if it goes to the graveyard, it can grow our 1 Tarmogoyf, or turn on Delirium for our 1 Flayer. Traverse the Ulvenwald. Speaking of Delirium, this can, again, we're a deck of 1 of, so the tutor effect here could be pretty good. Otherwise, it just helps us hit our land drops. Phyrexian Arena, very, very powerful card, but very slow, but I think it's good enough to main deck given our restriction we've put on ourselves here. So that is the main deck. Let's sort it by CMC so you get a better idea of the curve. Remember that Tazagur is usually more like a 3-drop. Shriekmaw is often cast for 2. So the curve is a little bit higher than regular, but it's not outlandishly so, right? Moving on to the sideboard, Surgical, of course, Deathmark, I already play. Duress, as mentioned before, more of a sideboard card in Modern, even in this Highlander build, but we're happy to have it in the 75. We've got a couple sweeper effects, Cry of the Carnarium, double duty against graveyard decks and weenies, Damnation. We're playing a Life Goes On anti-burn tech, pretty nice, pretty nice. Deglamour is a really spicy one. This is good at taking care of artifacts with Welding Jar protecting them is rendered useless. It takes care of a Wormcoil Engine without them getting the death trigger. So Deglamour is nice for those matchups. Of course we have Choke. Classic one of. We have Pulse of Marasa, which is good in grindy mid-range mirrors and also against burn. It's a nice 2-for-1 potentially. Usually it will be. We're playing Creeping Corrosion, destroy all artifacts. Pretty nice card to have. Only 1 Fulminator Mage, but that's all we can do here. Gaze of Granite, this is a spicy one. It's kind of a worse Pernicious Deed mostly. And as you guys may know, I hope to get Pernicious Deed in Modern Horizons, but for now, we're going to play the suboptimal version of Pernicious Deed and see how it does for us. Definitely worth bringing in a lot of matchups, just a bit slow. Ghost Quarter, because we can't play as many Fulminators, Ghost Quarter is going to be in our sideboard for big mana decks, and you know what? It's even better than Fulminator in some windows. I'm thinking specifically against Tron if we're on the draw. And they're going to have turn 3 Tron. We can disrupt it with GQ. And then speaking of Tron, we also have a Damping Sphere, of course, and we have Grafdigger's Cage rounding out the deck. So I know there's a bunch of other cards I could have played, my friends, and I'm sure you'll tell me about some of them in the comments. I look forward to seeing that. We had to be ruthless with our cuts, even though we only play 1 of each, right? So this is definitely Friendly League material. I really am going to be so pumped if I go positive with this. We're going to give it our best possible shot. We'll see how it goes. While we're loading into the first match, I would like to thank 2 brand new patrons of this channel, both confidants, so thank you for that level of support, my friends. First up, we have the Joe Cheney. Not just Joe Cheney, it's the Joe Cheney. Thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate your support a lot. Joe is a big fan of the one of Walking Ballista, so we'll see if we can ever play that for him at some point. I didn't put it in here because I don't own one. It costs 10 ticks. I wanted to keep this a little bit more budget friendly. And then, of course, the other patron that we're wanting to thank here is my good, close personal friend, Nate Cosentino. You know, when you start up Patreon, they tell you, get your friends and family to sign up to start things off on the right foot. I didn't do that. I just put this out there for the wonderful strangers of the internet to see if they would be interested in supporting it. But, and that worked out much to my pleasure. But Nate is a close personal friend. This hand's good, considering we're going to keep it. And he has decided, very unnecessarily but very generously, to support the content. He's an avid Magic player himself. He is very much a Spirits main at the moment, but he also plays Green-Black Elves, which I actually sold to him. And, he's a Slivers player at heart, so we're hoping for some Sliver action from Modern Horizons. But Thank you so much, my friend, for all you do. Nate also admins my Flayer MTG brand page, which I just started up on Facebook, so check that out. I'll try to be better about posting things to that. It's just a lot to maintain, you know? Uh-oh. Forest Ancient Stirrings. Well, we're gonna have our Highlander list put to the test, right? They go get Talaria West. Okay. We're just gonna grab a tomb here. Alright, come on, 2-drop. No 2-drop. Well, we pass. You know, we've got Liliana of the Veil. That seems like it's going to be our key to victory here. Yep, there's Amulet of Vigor. I wasn't sure if they had that. Maybe they just top-decked it. I'm not sure whether they generally would play Amulet first or Stirrings. I suppose it just depends on the hand, right? Shriekmaw. Yeah, so very clearly Liliana of the Veil time, and we're going to play Forest. We're going to pitch Swamp here. And you know, there are some worlds in which this gets us there, my friends. We will have to see. Unfortunately, the rest of our hand does not line up particularly well against Amulet Titan, especially given their start that did not depend upon Sakura Tribe Scout. However, we will see, we will see. Opponent probably thinks they're just up against a normal green-black rock deck. Little do they know. Little do they know. There are some worlds in which they can go, you know, like Azusa into bounce lands and go a little crazy here, but there's nothing we could do. It's definitely not correct to hold up Disfigure and just do nothing. Gotta play our Lily. Looks like indeed it is Azusa, so that is unfortunate, but you know, as long as they can't go too crazy this turn, we can Disfigure her, tick up, or maybe we Shriekmaw her, I don't know, we'll see what we draw. The bad news is if they just have, like, you know, they can just go Land Titan. Oh, it's Garruk Relentless. Nice. So, Garruk is going to go fight Azusa. And then we're going to take our Liliana up. Sweet. I guess we do that in the opposite order, though, so let's tick her up first. And I think we pitched this figure here. The other thing we could do is play... Well, we could have played... Yeah. Nah, Garruk is correct. Garruk is just correct. Alright, get wrecked, Azusa. Now it's Garruk the Veil Cursed. Of course, they could have Titan in hand, and then they could top deck a land. Looks like that's not going to quite happen to us this turn, perhaps, but Ancient Stirrings has got to be good for him. So, with the Veil Curse, we can tick up to make a wolf with Death Touch. They're scooping? They can't handle Garruk the Veil Curse. They can't handle it. Guys, we just beat Amulet Titan. They scooped on turn 4 to our Highlander deck. Get wrecked. What a great start to the league. So, obviously my sideboarding here is going to be all over the place, kind of by necessity, right? But what we want to do is basically think of the principles that would guide us with a normal list and then try to apply them as best as possible here. So, of course, Damping Sphere, Ghost Quarter, Fulminator Mage, these cards are all pretty sweet under normal circumstances. I do like Deathmark in the matchup, and I do like Damnation. Those are kind of... I mean, Ghost Quarter's not usually in the deck at all, right? But those are kind of the main ones. Is there anything else we like? Yeah, Surgical Extraction, of course, that's good. Anything else we like that's kind of from the more spicy category? I don't think so. Most of this other stuff is not oriented to the matchup, so we're probably looking at these 6 cards. Now, as far as what comes out, it's usually like trimming around the edges, but a lot of the cards that we would normally trim might just be better here than than other things. So, as good as Garruk Relentless was there, we might be looking to trim a Garruk, because we usually trim Lily the Last Hope. Liliana Heretical Healer is kind of bad. Arena's slow. I mean, a lot of our stuff is just going to be bad, right? But, let's see. We can cut this Nile Spellbomb. We can cut... I think we want to leave in all that 1 mana stuff. Alright. Let's cut these 3. So we've successfully slimmed down a bit, which is what we want to do here. And then we got to make 2 more cuts. Let's just put all these in. I can see Ghost Quarter just replacing a land. Not sure what's correct to replace here. We'll just cut a forest. And then we gotta make 1 more cut. I'm just gonna cut this Phyrexian Arena, it's pretty slow. Well, that was the first of many, many unscientific sideboarding adventures you'll see in this league. Okay, opponent's mulling, we're gonna keep. We've got a turn 2 threat. We've got Shadow of Doubt to blow them out. Yeah. It's a keep. Oh man, good times. And we've got the mana to cast Shadow of Doubt, no problem. So they're going down to 5? Well, now I wish I had mulliganed aggressively to my blackmail, but hey, we'll hopefully still get there. Yeah, I mean, of course, Amulet can still run us over, but we got Skin Shifter. Well, that's actually a pretty poor draw. We already have threats, we want interaction, but I won't complain. Alright, so they're just developing their mana. I'm gonna I'm just gonna cast Grimflayer here. Inquisition's interesting, but I think we have to cast Flayer. Next turn we can just go Inquisition, and then hold up Shadow of Doubt, or play Skin Shifter, as the case may be. So, do they have Azusa here? No, they have Coalition Relic. Well, that's pretty good. It's a good ramp piece. Alright, more lands. Yeah, so our draws have been a little bit weak, but we will begin with Inquisition. Alright, so they have a Simic Growth Chamber. They do have Azusa. They have Negate and Summoner's Pact. So, I guess we just take Azusa, and then we... Alright, so if we take Azusa, then we play the Skin Shifter this turn, they're not going to pact... I think it'd be very aggressive for them to pact before... That's interesting. So either way, I think we're going to take this Azusa. Let's see what we do with the Flayer. Alright, Alright, so I want none of those. Yeah, I want none of them. And we now have Delirium, so that's pretty cool. So, we've got 4 cards in the yard. We could just play Taziger. Maybe it's better to just play Taziger. I think that's correct. It diversifies our threats against engineered explosives. And of course it resets our quest for Delirium, but that's alright. We just have a natural 4/5. I think the clock is quite relevant here, and I don't really expect them to Summoner's Pact yet. They're definitely not going to do it because they're playing around Shadow of Doubt. That much I can tell you. They're just passing without having made a land drop. Okay. And then they're just scooping. Well, you know, clearly the power of this Highlander deck is just too much for a tier 1 deck like Amulet Titan to handle, my friends. What do you think about that? What do you think about the 2-0 on the back of, well, let's see, Garruk Relentless? Otherwise, the cards that we played besides Garruk are still fairly meta. Of course, Lily of the Veil was really what won us game 1, but I mean, Taziger and Grimflayer are both kind of a little bit more fringe playable, and this archetype are a little bit more oriented toward different takes on it that either involve a Delirium sub-theme in the case of Flayer, or No Dark Confidant in the case of Taziger. But you know what? They were enough. They were enough to get the job done. How funny is that? So, 2-0. 1-0, 2-0. I'll take it. Alright. Here we go. Round 2. Winning the die roll, and Blackmail, Fatal Push, Funeral Charm. Look at all this 1-mana interaction. We'll keep it. Really need a threat, though, but it's alright. So, with this spread of lands, we're just going to go get a swamp. And we're going to blackmail you, my friend. You've been blackmailed, so you better pay up. Of course, this is where blackmail is really bad compared to Inquisition. But so they reveal Terminus and Field of Ruin and Field of Ruin. Yep, this is where blackmail is awful. So clearly they have enough lands where it doesn't matter. Clearly Terminus in their hand is not very good. Yeah. Pretty bad stuff, and this is a pretty bad hand against control. We'll take a Field of Ruin. We'll pass. Pretty cool to say that we discarded out their land, though, right? I mean, if nothing else, we can say that, but... Okay, Thoughtseize. Well, drawing these in the opposite order would have been ideal, but we'll certainly take it. We still need a threat, but this is good interaction. It's better than a lot of other draws, and wow! They're on a low land hand, so I can't really believe they showed us a land to take, but I guess double field is awkward enough. I guess we just take... I mean, we're not beating double Jace anyway. I guess we just take Opt and hope to really land screw them. Alright, we hope to see them play the Field of Ruin here, because that means they probably did not draw another land. Now, more than ever, we need a threat. Okay, Relic is good for them. It's going to cantrip. We got the threat, my friends. We got the Skin Shifter. Get ready. Get ready for the Skin Shifter. I've got to remember to not really prioritize fetching, holding fetches, because there's only one tracker and only one collective brutality and things like that. So against a deck like this, we are going to thin. We're going to go get an Overgrown Tomb. Alright, did they have a land so they can de-sphere our Skin Shifter? Unfortunately, they do. But will they? Will they dare to de-sphere the Skin Shifter? Look at this guy. You think your sphere can hold him? Doubtful. Yeah, they're going for it. Okay, well, now what do we do? Oh, man. You know, to be fair, if we just had a normal deck right now, we'd be in a similar situation, right? We have a similar amount of threats. Yeah, Treetop's okay. Yeah, Treetop's actually pretty good. It's good to pressure the Jace. Of course, we just hope they simply don't have a fourth land at all. And if they don't, they can field this thing. They will, but I don't know why they're doing it main phase, but sure. Maybe they have a Serum Visions to follow up. Opt, okay. Alright, so they have their 4 lands. They have 1 unknown in hand. Yeah, okay. We draw land. Not very good. Not very good at all. I guess that's the one we're going to hold in hand. We might be just about dead here. We'll see what they do with their Jace, but even if we draw an answer to him, they have another one. The advantage is going to be a little bit too much, I fear. But again, you know, if we could flood just as easily in our regular deck. We could have Fatal Push in our hand just as easily. This Funeral Charm is whatever, but another Colonnade. You got it. Alright, we draw a Flayer. Sure. I don't think just firing off the Funeral Charm does anything quite yet. They just Miracle a Terminus? Yeah, okay. It is worth noting that if that's their only card in hand in a situation like that, like if they're empty-handed but they have set up a Miracle Terminus, or if they just blind rip a Miracle, Funeral Charm can get that out of their hand at instant speed, I believe. Yeah, because it's still in their hand when the Miracle trigger goes on the stack. Alright, if we don't draw anything good here, yeah, we're done. We're done, we can't beat that. Okay, so the opponent had a really powerful hand, a hand that was frankly tough for even a fully tuned Golgari list to beat, and of course, our best hope was that they just didn't hit their land drops before we got online, but they sure did. So, cards we want: Fulminator Mage, Choke, creature or land from a graveyard to its owner's hand. Against other control decks, sure. Against blue-white, I don't know. Maybe it's still better than other things we're doing. Artifact or enchantment shuffles in. Yeah, we'll put Deglamour in the maybe board too, but I doubt we want that one. We could probably consider the Ghost Quarter here. We definitely want Duress. Not much else to do, so 3 for sures and 3 maybes. And what is bad? What is bad against control? Shriek Maw stands out as pretty bad. Very clunky. Looking from the top down, basically everything else is pretty fine. Don't know about Liliana Heretical Healer, but we might have worse cards, but we'll consider bringing her out. Let's see what else. Destroy the enchantment mode, that's relevant. Regen can be relevant against Supreme Verdict. Right, Supreme Verdict can't be countered. Nothing to do with regen, I believe. Honestly, most of our other stuff is looking okay. We probably just want to cut the kill spells. So we'll cut Cast Down, Disfigure, bring in these 3. We'll cut Fatal Push. Funeral Charm is still probably pretty bad, but maybe good enough to leave in. I don't really know about any of these other cards. We could even just play... We could bring in Ghost Quarter. We probably want to go down on lands in general, so why don't we cut a Blooming Marsh? We'll bring in a Ghost Quarter. We will bring out Urborg. And then I guess we play Pulsive Marasa and Deglamour, and we're leaving in Liliana. So we've got some pretty bad cards. Is a Fatal Push better than any of this stuff? I could say Fatal Push is maybe better than Deglamour, because at least it kills Colonnade. Snapcaster. Alright. Alright, let's do it. Let's do it. I'll take the play, and yeah, I guess we keep this. It's got some stuff. Sure, keep. I'm pretty happy to just get that Treetop Village down. Right now, it looks like we'll have plenty of luxury to deploy it at our leisure, but, you know, if we draw gas, which we hope to, that could change, and it's important to have it down so they can't just tap out freely, necessarily, for the turn 4 Jace. Right? Okay, they've got Relic. They've got Flooded Strand, they're going to pass. Okay, Honored Hierarch, sure. So, we're going to attack with a Skin Shifter. This thing is all instant speed, right? Becomes a Rhino. Yep, so we're going to attack, and we're going to turn it into a Rhino. Alright, so that's how that works. Cool, okay. So we're getting in for 4. Maybe. No path? No path. Alright, cool. Yeah, we're just going to play out some 1-drops. Honored Hierarch and Nile Spellbomb. Opponent is so confused right now. Our deck looked pretty much like well, I guess we let on Blackmail, so that's certainly not usual, but otherwise looked like a pretty normal rock deck, but now they are just probably a little bit disturbed, to be honest. A little bit concerned for us. Alright, they go get Basic Island. This means they've got some kind of action on the end step, whether it be an Opt or cracking the Relic. It is Opt. And they went top with the Opt. Alright, more lands is pretty bad. Pretty bad. So what we have to do here is just get as much damage in as possible before they're on Settle the Wreckage and Cryptic Command and all that stuff, so let's do it. Let's fire up our stuff. They are pathing the Skin Shifter. Okay. Good enough threat to draw out the path. I love it. I don't really love it because I suppose them being very short of removal would be our best bet to actually taking this game. We don't have the value pieces in hand right now like we really want to resolve an early Planeswalker, but we are putting on a respectable clock. Detention Sphere for the Honored Hierarch? Okay. You got it, buddy. You got it. Pretty funny. Alright, let's draw a Planeswalker, shall we? Vraska Golgari Queen. Nice. Very nice. So, interesting question as to whether we just start drawing cards or whether we destroy the Detention Sphere. The reason I'm considering not destroying the sphere is because, of course, we have Golgari Charm for that. But another sphere is kind of their best immediate answer to Vraska, right? Either that or they just untap and go to Fairy, in which case we're in trouble. But I guess we're just going to get rid of the sphere. And we will play out the land first there to play around Spell Pierce, and also, because we're going to anyway, hold up our Golgari Charm. Get back that Honored Hierarch, my friend. It's no longer renowned, so sad days, but so the flood insurance here is pretty real. If we untap with Vraska, that is. They're going to purge her. Okay, that's another good answer. Fair enough. Okay, so because they're so low relatively on life, and because this is, again, a window where they don't have 4 mana open, we're going to cantrip on the end step here, try to dig for some action. Duress is fine. Definitely a fine one. And an Overgrown Tomb is a unfortunate follow-up. We really wanted a good threat here, a good Planeswalker, something. But we will open up with the Duress. They're going to path. Yep. Okay, they've got nothing in hand. Just a couple lands. So Treetop can attack with impunity here. Unfortunately, yeah, again, that would have been the window. You know, we flooded like crazy this game. We really have. They played... I wasn't paying close enough attention. They've got the mismatched arts. I don't know. That might have been a different art island that they just played. Eternal Witness is good. Yeah, I guess we just play her. If they've got counter magic, then they've got to tap low and they can't activate Colonnade. I think we just need the redraw from Nile Spellbomb rather than the Duress. Snapcaster Mage, sure. And then they allow it to resolve. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Yeah, so let's crack the bomb. Yep. This is good. It thins out our deck before we draw. Lets us fire up Treetop without concern for it getting pathed. Alright, we are gonna sandbag that last land. And they're at the mercy of their top deck, you know. They do have the Colonnade, though, but we've got them on the ropes. And we have a Collective Brutality. Okay, so here's the play. We're going to attack with Treetop Village. They're going to block it with the Colonnade. Then we can try to 2-for-1 them with Golgari Charm. If that doesn't work, we can just finish off the Colonnade with a follow-up Brutality. We can also escalate that Brutality. I think that's a good plan. Of course, we don't know what that top deck was, but hopefully it's nothing relevant. They might just think we have, like, Fatal Push here. Alright, let's try for the 2-for-1. Golgari Charm, do it! That's a beautiful thing. I think we just hang on to this Collective Brutality for now. Man, you know, the funniest lines come up, right? The funniest lines come up when you're playing a deck like this. That was pretty spicy, if I do say so myself. Okay. They could just have another land in hand. Liliana the Last Hope is a fine one. But she's not so powerful right now because we don't have a threat to buy back. But therefore, I'm not going to risk whiffing with my Brutality to clear the way for her. I'm just going to play her and see what happens. Okay. I think we just take up, progress toward a win condition. And we just kind of wish we had something a little bit more proactive there, honestly. Even most creatures might be better. Then again, they could just have removal in hand. But all right. Again, with the reactive cards, huh? Well, at least we're drawing gas. So I think at this point we're kind of all in on trying to progress her toward a win condition and then see what they can muster. They might just be really flooded. Traverse. Traverse is good. We have Delirium. Let's cast a Traverse. Wow, it's gonna resolve, and what the heck do we take here? So we have 5, 6, 7 in play. We could get an 8th if we play our Verdant Catacombs. It's probably either Tireless Tracker or Ishkana. I think we're going to go with the Tracker, because if they counter it, we can buy it back and play it again this turn. And still have our fetch land, of course, to follow it up. What you got, opponent? What you got? What you got? This is so funny. They're probably so confused. That Golgari charm definitely threw them for a loop. And you know, that was a big game changer because we really needed that colonnade gone. That colonnade not only walls off a lot of our threats, nice, tracker will resolve. It also, of course, would threaten a Liliana or similar. So our second Overgrown Tomb is in the deck, and I think we want to go get it right now. Okay, they do have a path? Sure. No more basics. I'll shock here just in case I draw something sweet with my clue. Inquisition of Kozilek? I don't think we play that this turn, but it's a potentially fine one, and we just keep the Liliana ticking up here. Jace the Mind Sculptor, you got it. Yep, we're going to let that resolve. We're going to end step, trophy it, or attempt to. Or we could just untap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana worth of cards in our hand. But since Inquisition doesn't hit, if this was a Thoughtseize, I might untap, right? But I think because Inquisition can't get rid of their Cryptic anyway, I'm just going to try to trophy on the end step here. They're going to purge the Liliana in response. Yeah, I mean, that plays. And then they're going to mono-leak us. Okay, this is fine. Not drawing a threat is not very fine, but at least we get to pulse away the Jace. We do have the extreme resource advantage, but their top decks are live. We just need threats, basically. Hissing Quagmire qualifies. Quagmire qualifies for sure. Because, of course, one hit from the Quagmire plus one Collective Brutality means they're dead. Baneslayer Angel. Oh, no. Oh, no. Garruk Relentless is our draw. Doesn't do it against the Baneslayer. Okay, so... Or does it? I mean, Garruk plus Collective Brutality does. Okay, I guess that's our new line. It's pretty bad, but... Okay, so we get the oust with Inquisition. And then we just have to escalate the brutality here. Yep, this is not the best, but... Three damage to target creature. That creature deals damage equal to its power to him. Yep, that's our line. That's our line. Good times. How much better would a Lily of the Veil have been here? Oh well. Kill your thing, drain you. And of course that has undone so much of our work because of the lifelink, but I don't think letting that live was any better. We might have lost our window for the game there with that top deck of Baneslayer, but Another manland is okay. Alright, well, one Quagmire gets through, and there's another one, so who knows? Who knows? Maybe we've got this. Field of Ruin is a good one for them. Verdant Catacombs is a bad one for us. But we definitely just fire up both Quagmires here, especially because they have a field. We're not really worried about getting 2 for 1. Can't afford to worry about that. From something like Settle the Wreckage and all that, but, you know, the normal concerns don't really apply here. We're just mindlessly turning anything we have sideways for the most part. Unfortunate, very unfortunate to have drawn lands here when we have seen so many already, and we're totally out of fetchables. We're very thinned out. Looks like they, well, it's an opt, okay. Their top decks have not been great either, to be fair. To be totally fair, their top decks have not been great. And, you know, we are in it in a bad matchup, despite playing a Highlander deck. We're in it, right? We've got them on the ropes. Despite the flood, despite the lack of a threat. See if we can close it out here. Nissa Vital Force. Yeah, we clearly just jam her and hope she resolves. Oh, that's a good one. That's such a good one. Do they have anything? And if they don't have anything, they don't have anything. Okay, so we could buy back Garruk. We could buy back Spellbomb. Not much else we can buy back. Alternatively, we can just tick up and make them have something to not die on the spot. Buying back Garruk is kind of good, though, here. But I think we're supposed to just attack. If they only have, like, 1 removal spell, this puts them to 1. Of course, we are at alt threshold as well, if that matters, so there are ways in which we get punished for this, like if they have a way to stay alive and then they can remove Nissa next turn, but I believe this is the correct line overall. Okay, sure, snap, removal. Yeah, that's pretty good. They can path the swamp and then trade with the Quagmire if that's what they want to do. That said, they've still got to find an answer for this Nissa right away. And if we draw a land next turn, we might just alt her and take all of our free draws for the rest of the game. We did it! Alright, we did it! We got a win against a really tough matchup. And who knows, maybe we'll take the series. Having seen the rest of their deck, it looks like all totally normal. Blue-white control stuff. Don't believe anything else in this sideboard looks appealing whatsoever. And I do like the fact that we're down a land. You saw how badly we flooded there despite aggressively thinning, despite all the tax effects, despite cutting a land to begin with. So, yeah, this looks like a pretty solid setup against blue-white control. I'll be right back before we start Game 3. Alright, we're back. Submit deck. We're low on the clock, understandably so, I guess, because not only am I playing against Control while live commentating, but I'm also playing with this Highlander deck. So we might not win a really long one, but we'll just try to be conscious of that. And we'll try to just hope they mull to Oblivion and we just punish them with Liliana of the Veil on turn 3. Uncountered and unbeatable. That's our hope. We really want to take the Control deck down here. They're going to be playing around Golgari Charm all game. It's going to be great. Okay, we keep. It's fine, I guess. Okay, Shocking and Hallowed Fountain. Probably got an opt for the end step here, but we'll just go Quagmire pass. Ghost Quarter is okay. Our card quality's not high enough where it's probably going to make the difference, right? Like, taking care of a Colonnade at the right time. Really wanted to see, like, some early interaction. Tasigur, sure. So, it's going to be Catacombs here. We're going to just thin out our deck a little bit, go get an Overgrown Tomb, start putting things into our graveyard. Okay, they're on the double field plan here. Alright, another Overgrown Tomb's pretty bad. I guess we still just don't really do anything here. At least they're not going to have Cryptic Command for turn 4. Unless they just have, for some reason, not played another blue land yet. Or they could top deck one, I suppose. Relic, yep. It's a bit annoying, actually, with Tasigur around, but okay, so more lands is so bad. Yep, we're just going to play Tasigur, although I don't really expect him to stick around. They gotta have either Monoleak here or Path to Exile or Logic Nut, I assume, but since they did get stuck on 3 lands, I'm pretty sure we are supposed to just jam them and see what happens. He resolves, that's step 1. Again, they could have Path, but they do. Alright, well. A lot of our cards in hand are still pretty dead, but we do have the Nissa that we can just blindly jam. They might not have counter magic that is castable at the moment. They might tap out for something here, like if they have a Search for Azcanta they've been trying not to play, but now they feel they're missing land drops for too long. They might just tap out for the Search, and then we can maybe get there with Nissa. Of course, a card like Fulminator Mage would be sweet here, because they are seemingly still not hitting that 4th land. Okay, there's the 4th land, but it's a Colonnade. Golgari Charm. Alright, yeah, we don't have anything good in hand besides the Nissa, so we've just got to play her into potential counter magic. Please resolve, Nissa. Please, please resolve. Mana leak. No. Alright, well. You got us. You got us good. Yep, the fact that Taziger resolved gave us a little bit of hope, but I've been suspicious for a 2-mana counter this whole game. And of course, I believe they chose to just let the Tazi resolve and path it, and then hold up the mana leak for a situation just like this. Okay, Baneslayer Angel, no big deal, because we have the trophy. And we also have an Eternal Witness, so this is going to be a good turn. So let's do the Ewit thing first. Get our Nissa back. And then we've got to trophy this. Yeah. I didn't want to play Ghost Quarter yet because I don't foresee them firing up the Colonnade this turn. And this way we can hold up Golgari Charm in case that matters, search for Azcanta, basically. If they desphere the Witness, then whatever. Okay, Jace is good, but we do have the Witness to pressure a little bit. We also, of course, have the Nissa that they know about, so they really need to dig for 2-mana counter magic here. Or they need to already have it in hand. Alright, I gotta play quicker. I'm about 3 minutes behind on the clock. But if this turns into a game where they're just really having to carefully activate Jace and use him to stay in the game and eventually win it, we could make up the time on the clock here. Alright, Scavenging Ooze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This plays around Mana Leak, so sure. Nissa. Very nice. I think we send them both at Jace here. They will path our forest. Okay. And then we definitely play the Skoos here. Obviously, it's vulnerable to a Wrath of God effect, but we're at the point where we definitely can't play around that. In beginning next turn, I can be a lot more free to hold up my fields and my Ghost Quarter. I'm just going to pass through their end step in case they do have Snapcaster. If I don't want to get greedy and try to eat away at the graveyard without, and then they just get to flash in the snap in response with a path in there. The Jace still being around is very annoying. I don't know if that bodes too well for us, but is this Teferi? It's Colonnade. Yeah, okay. Coming at the Nissa, you got it. Now if they don't make another land drop, I'm pretty free to activate Skoos. Don't know if they have yet. I think they have, right? Okay. Yeah. Now we'll eat a path. Actually, let's eat the Baneslayer. Let's just become a 3/3. It could be good. Alright, they have yet another colonnade. Yikes. Okay, Kitchen Finks, sure. So... Okay, we gotta send both the smaller things at Jace. They might have yet another path or like a condemn or something, but the clock is low enough and their value is strong enough that I think we just go wide, we just make them have it. This Traverse has been rotting in hand all game. That's been a bit annoying. We haven't, of course, needed to go get a basic with it or nor wanted to. But, you know, we're doing okay, guys. We've got a Nissa on field, and we've got Field and Ghost Quarter to protect her. So... opponent's got a lot of work to do. That said, they've got 5 cards in hand now. They've got all the mana they could need. They've got a lot of live draws, right? This is intense. I'm so glad we're taking control down to the wire no matter what happens here. They will field our field. Yeah, we'll hit a colonnade in response. Okay, we're out of basics. They have another Field of Ruin. Okay. It's pretty good. But is it enough? Definitely plays well against what we're up to. Alright, yep. I mean, we just... use our stuff here. Wow. So... I was saying, please top deck hand disruption, because if they just have settle the wreckage, we are dead. But realistically, what else can we do? What else can we do here? I don't think much. Ah, God. If this is a settle, then we're in trouble. If this is a cryptic, we are in trouble. Let's just try to cast Garrick. See what happens. Maybe that was maybe this is incorrect. If they do have cryptic, they just tap down and counter, but that's actually fine with us, because then we can play around that with Nissa. Yeah, so I think main phase in Garrick here is correct. Also, again, the clock's... Of course, I played blue-white control with this deck, where I'm going to be very unfamiliar with a lot of the sequencing. Whatever, it's been fun. It's been fun. I just don't want to play a colonnade deck again this league. Can we make that happen? Matchmaker? That would be sweet. Looks like this is a cryptic command. Counter, spell, tap him down. Okay. So we're going to untap a swamp. And we're going to pass. Now, if they can fire up the colonnade and get rid of our Nissa. Or can they? Golgari Charm can shrink that, but it will kill our Eternal Witness. I think that's worth it. You should have played around the Golgari Charm, my friend. We're shrinking your colonnade. So if they want to interact with this, they don't. Okay. I was going to say they're going to be tapped out for our turn. Wow. All right. So now clearly we just... Here, let's eat this Cryptic, then we'll untap. Maybe losing the Forest is bad here, but whatever. If they have more removal and stuff. So in other words, maybe I should not have been mana efficient there. Maybe I should have just used a swamp anyway, but this could get there. If two things connect, they're dead. We did it! We did it. GG, well played. Look at us. Look at Golgari Highlander just taking down all comers here. I say all comers, it's only been two, but it's been two unfavorable matchups. It has been Amulet Titan and blue-white control, and we are playing a Highlander deck. I mean, I'm happy. I'm so happy right now. I can't even explain it. I never thought the results could be quite like this. We've got a lot of really reasonable kill spells in the deck. So I'm thinking, if we play against creature-based matchups, we might be able to get there, Didn't know how much of a chance we had against Titan and blue-white control, right? But let's see if we can keep going. Let's see if we can keep this up. Well, we're winning all the die rolls, so maybe luck is just with us. This hand is fine. We need to hit lands for our top end, but it's a fine keep, I guess. Here is where we hope we are against a creature deck. We can go turn 1, disfigure their 1-drop. They're mulling to 5? Wow. So if it is a creature deck, disfigure their 1-drop, turn 2 Flayer, then untap with a Fatal Push and get the Flayer activation in. We could be in good shape. If it's not a creature deck, we are really, we're fully dependent on the Flayer. Yeah, even hitting land drops here is not that impressive because Kalidas and Ishkana are not that impressive against Tron without other forms of disruption involved. So I will thin out, get that tomb, and now let's go on the Flayer plan. Alright, so yet another bad matchup. Now this matchup definitely gets a lot worse while we are in Highlander mode, right? Because we don't have the 3 Fulminators, we don't have the 2 Extractions to bring in from the side, and of course things like Tarmogoyf and Dark Confidant are the premier 2-drop threats. Flayer's card selection is fine, but how good that will be, I think remains to be seen. But I'm just happy it's not another Colonnade deck, right? Okay, this could be a Sylvan Scrying here. Expedition map. Relic. Ooh, yeah, Relic's a good one. Relic is a very good one right about now. Abrupt Decay, though, is also a good one. So I've got to decay something. It's either the map or the Relic. I mean, I guess it's got to just be map. The Relic is indeed obnoxious, but I definitely should have attacked and got my trigger first, but we'll see. Not used to playing with my namesake card anymore. Field of Ruin. I guess we have to keep the field. And I guess Skin Shifter is actually kind of a fine clock, but since we have more threats in hand, I think we bin the Skin Shifter. And we definitely bin the Verdant Catacombs, so we'll draw field next turn. And we will probably not need to use it, so maybe we can play Kalidas and then have a turn 5 field. So the fact that they have the scrying here means we're definitely taking our chances if we don't play Field of Ruin next turn. If we don't, like, you know, draw step field them. Or it might even just be a main phase field, because then we've gotten our shuffle effect out of the way before we do the Flayer thing. You know, this is a very bad hand against Tron, but they did mull to 5. They are seemingly struggling to put it all together. There's the power plant. Sure. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this land when they relic me. They play a map. Okay. So now I definitely do have to field. And it sucks to give them the relic mana, but I guess if they crack the relic rather than slow rolling it, that could be good for me in the medium term. So power plant was the one that they tutored for. So that's the one we'll hit. And again, we have to do this here because otherwise the search is going to wreck our Flayer manipulation of the top deck. Pretty easy bin all 3, I guess. There's an argument for Treetop Village, maybe. Maybe we just want Treetop Village because it's a guaranteed threat. What else is in our deck that we're drawing to that's good in the main deck? A lot of bad stuff. A second Field of Ruin. I mean, like Bob, Goyf. Obviously, Lily of the Veil. Maybe we just leave that Treetop Village on top. Yeah, we have a lot of we're very bad against Tron with this Highlander setup. So if we leave the Treetop on top, they're down to 14 when this connects. Next turn we hit for another 2. I'm assuming we're never going to get Delirium. We play Kalitas, we play Treetop. They'll be at 12. Then they're taking 8. The Treetop doesn't change the clock all that much. Alright, let's bin all 3. Let's bin all 3. Oh, we already had connected, right? Okay. Alright, so the relic's gone. Cracking the map. Getting Urza's Mine, passing to us. Dark Confidant. Okay. This time we attack first, see what's on the top before we decide on our play. Eternal Witness, Tarmogoyf, Forest. So another tough one. If we bin Goyf, it gives us something to buy back. And next turn we can go Witness Goyf and just go as wide as possible. That means we would have to leave the forest on top, and we would have to play a Dark Confidant this turn. I can buy that. I think that's our best clock. So we bin the Goyf. And then on top we put Witness, followed by Forest. We play the Bob. And it's Tron, so they might just have the power plant here and we're dead. But this has been an interesting, many interesting decisions this game, if nothing else. Worth noting the OP combo between Flayer and Confidant, manipulating the top of your deck. So Star was the find off of Stirrings, which is definitely not that scary. Okay. I mean, they're just kind of getting to the point where they can hardcast a Wormcoil, which is pretty bad, but at least we'll have Kalitas and then the potential out of a removal spell for that. Okay. Maelstrom Pulse, Shriekmaw, Oath of Nissa. These are some nice cards. I'm going to bin the Oath, though. That's good for Delirium. And I think we just bin the Shriekmaw and take Maelstrom Pulse into our hand. Or into the top deck, rather. And then, I actually think this changes my plan. We're going to play the Kalitas because my big fear is Wormcoil next turn. So, Kalitas is a fine contributor to the clock anyway, and we cannot necessarily have a double spell. We definitely can't go Kalitas into Pulse next turn. So, once again, they could just Tron us and then we're just dead, but at least they're not hardcasting Wormcoil this turn, which, to be fair, is what we were kind of prepared for, but Relic is annoying. I just crack it right away, so okay. Bob's gonna flip the Pulse, which is painful, but that's fine. Once again, we will attack first, figure things out later. Okay, Golgari Charm, not doing much. Yeah, let's just bin all this. It's fine. And we'll just pass. Adding to the board doesn't change anything and just gets us blown out harder if we get blown out. And they miraculously did not have anything else. They never got Tron. They never just, had a 7th land to cast Karn, or maybe they did have the 7th land, but no Karn to cast. We did have our bases covered against Wormcoil Engine. We were also, honestly, we just beat Karn on board, too. So there's that. Maybe they have the Karn in hand. Maybe they have the 7th land for them. And they just lose. So we had our bases covered. I think, I could have taken even more time on some of those decisions to play around more things, but honestly, I think we just were proactive enough to get there. So against Tron, we have Fulminator Mage, Damping Sphere, Ghost Quarter. Well, these all look like real cards in the matchup. But otherwise, we want Deglammer. Deglammer can take care of their early things and cleanly answers Wormcoil, as I mentioned in the deck tech. Pulse, Creeping Corrosion. Some artifact hate, like Stony Silence is good, Deglammer is good. I don't think Creeping Corrosion is good, though. Duress we want. I am 99% certain. Of course, we need to look at what we were able to bring out, but I have a feeling we're going to find room for everything we need. And then, of course, Surgical Extraction is nice against Tron. Nothing else really sticking out to me here, so let's say these 6 come in, and what do we not like? So I guess it's mostly going to be the spot removal that makes way. Let's just go line by line. Yeah, Disfigure is clearly the worst, cannot even kill a Wormcoil token. Fatal Push can, but we can still cut that. We normally cut them all. Nile Spellbomb doesn't do anything. Cast Down is pretty bad. All of the, a lot of these 2-drops are not the best, but we probably have to leave them in. I guess Golgari Charm's pretty bad. And this card has never once been like, yes, I'm happy to have it. But if we play Burn or something, maybe a mid-range mirror, I don't know, she might come up. She might come up somewhere, but we could cut her. The rest of this stuff is probably better than her. Last Hope doesn't do much, but sure. In these Planeswalkers, a lot of them are just way too slow to be that useful. Shriekmaw is pretty bad, but I think I'll leave it in over most of this other stuff. The only thing I might actually consider bringing back is Fatal Push, just to kill an early Ballista or something, and a Wormcoil Engine token, but yeah, whatever. Shriekmaw out, push in. I don't know if that's correct, but it's good enough for me. Highlander, there can be only one. There can be only one. What a league so far, my friends. We're doing this very restrictive deck building protocol proud. It also, frankly, just shows you how much variance comes into things, because our opponents have got to be like, what? We're losing to the blue-white player? Like, we're losing to Golgari Charm for -1/-1? What is this? Things like that. But, still. I'm still very, very excited about this. And the opponents in the tank here, they're probably worried about the spice as well. What do we even do? They're looking at a hand of natural Tron and Karn and Ugin with redundancy for Tron, and they're just like, can I keep this? I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. That's right. That is right. Okay, opponent has mulliganed. What does our hand look like? We've got turn 1 Oath. I mean, we curve out really well. We don't disrupt at all, but I think we're actually kind of supposed to keep this, simply because we do not have a high density of very impactful cards, so I think we're just supposed to curve out and hope they stumble. They're going to keep 5. And they have Mind Map, so that's good. What does Oath find us? Creature, land, or planeswalker? I don't even know if I want those things. I kind of want... Well, Yeah. Yeah, we can find Field of Ruin and Fulminator Mage. So let's play the Oath of Nissa. And none of this is good as far as disrupting them goes, but Grimflayer is a really good turn 2 play. So that's what we'll do. And they just have Tron, but we draw Ghost Quarter. Well, I guess that's our new turn 2 play. We've got to disrupt the Tron. Ghost Quarter is the draw. Look at that. Fulminator Mage would not have cut it here. Field of Ruin would not have cut it. But you know what cuts it is the old GQ. So they played Power Plant second. They go get Tower. Yeah, we're just going to draw step. Hit the Power Plant. Set ourselves back. No choice. Turns on their Stirrings, too. This is just another reason why Hand Disruption is nice, because it lets you know what's turned on, what's not, I don't know if anyone... I know some people saw me get absolutely stomped by Jim Davis recently when he was on Tron. I actually declined to field him off of Tron because I knew he had mono green payoffs in hand. and he also had redundancy for Tron, so even though I take him off of Tron for a turn that way, I would have been turning on his green payoffs, and he would still have Tron the following turn. So I declined 2, and of course he just ripped a Worm Coil, and that was that. But, anyway, sometimes there is a reason to not aggressively destroy their lands depending on their hand. Now, they just found Power Plant for Stirring, so I think we're pretty dead. But they could just not have a payoff, so play the Grim Flayer, pass. Even if they don't have a payoff, they've got Sphere. Yeah, okay. There's the Ugin. There goes that guy. So we're going to thin out our deck, we're going to play a Kitchen Finks, and we're going to give ourselves basically another chance to draw a Pulsar Trophy or something to get rid of Ugin. But it looks like we're getting Troned, my friends. Even if we do that, they are just Tron line and we have no disruption, so we would be at the mercy of their top deck. But that's not entirely unexpected here. Kitchen Finks, baby. Game 2 life. Can you beat that? Can you beat that, Ugin? We might see the Ugin tick down here because the Exile clause is relevant. Alright. I'll take my draw step, but I'm dead to this. Very, very dead. They have O-Stone as well. Okay, they've got it all. Good game. Okay, that was night and day from game 1. We had similar levels of disruption, and then game 1 they kind of bricked. In game 2 they just absolutely curved out perfectly in light of what we were up to. So anything else we want to consider? Probably not. I cannot imagine, really. You know what might be good is Pulse of Marasa to buy back Ghost Quarter and Field of Ruin. It's very slow. But, yeah, I can buy back a threat if we lose 1-2. I can buy that. Let's consider the Pulse. I don't think anything else here is good. So, Pulse will replace what? I mean, Ishkana is very, very medium. We got a lot of very medium stuff, if I'm honest, but Liliana the Last Hope doesn't really... She's usually a pretty clear side out in these games. I'm kind of feeling the need to leave in this one Fatal Push just because our cards are so bad. We could maybe help fight through a Worm Coil or a Thragtusk with this. Yeah, sure. So let's just take out our Last Hope. We've got a very clunky setup here anyway, so we'll not get even clunkier. We are also on 25 lands, which I guess is fine. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Just making sure we hit our land drops is probably better than a lot of our spells are anyway, that we could bring in like Lily the Last Hope, so sure. Let's play first, and we have Field of Ruin and Shadow of Doubt, and then we have mono green stuff, so we have a couple very good cards, but this is currently an unusable hand. That said, I don't think it gets that much better than this. If we just, if we just draw another land of almost any kind, we're in business. So I'm going to keep it. I think our matchup here is so bad, considering our deck, that we have to keep the high upside risky hands. Okay, come on, Blackland. No! Oh, we could blow out we still might be able to. I was going to say we could blow out the map this way. But we have to expose our field. It's not great. We just really need to draw another land. Alright, come on, land. Come on, untapped black land to be exact. Alright. Alright, good game. Unless they don't have a payoff, but You know, I think this is a fine keep. We just took the risk. Took the risk. Alright, what you got for me, my friend? What's it gonna be? Karn Exile a land? O-Stone. Expedition map. Yep, well. Now we get the field? Really, now? Okay. Okay, I guess we're playing it out. So, of course, they had the ability to fetch there on the end step. With Expedition Map, if we had blown something up with field, so we just have to hope they don't have another payoff, which it doesn't look like they do. Until now, Thraggy. Thrag Daddy. Yep. Okay, so Tower was the one they got most recently, right? And this is so awkward because we need double black for Shadow of Doubt, but we also need green to do anything. I don't know what to get. I don't know what to get. I mean, we're just going to kind of lose to this Thragtusk. You know what we can do is get a forest here, and then we can traverse for a swamp. I guess that's probably the plan. Sure. Blackmail? That's a good draw, in theory. In practice, I don't know how good it will really be. I don't think we can cast it this turn, because I think we need to just do what I said. Traverse for a swamp, that way we can hold up Shadow of Doubt. Or Field of Ruin, I guess, if they just have natural Tron. But what they'll probably do is fetch them at main phase to try to have like a half Tron turn, and then we get to have our fun with Shadow of Doubt. Oh, they go Stirrings first. That is a thing. They find Power Plant. Okay, so now do they go for a map? Do it. Go for the map, big guy. You want to. I know you want to. This is gonna, even if we lose this game, this is gonna be so worth it. As we get to counter an expedition. Oh no! He smells the trap! Okay. Okay, they play Power Plant, they pass, so I guess we just hit the mine here. They might have another mine in hand, which would then make a lot of sense, but Twilight Mire, okay. So we can just maybe chump for days with Garrick. But we might not have the luxury. I guess we just start with Blackmail no matter what. Opponent's so confused. Rightfully so. And we're probably just going to have to pass again here. All is Dust, Ugin, and Urza's Mine. Yep. So we are going to take Urza's Mine. We're going to play the Twilight Mire. We're going to blow out their Expedition map. And then we're going to try to beat the Thragtusk next turn, or maybe earlier. Alright. Players cannot fetch. Players cannot search libraries this turn. My friend. Yeah, okay. Okay, they don't have another land, so I guess we're just going to be mana efficient. We're going to deglamour the O-Stone. The spice, my friends, the absolute spice. They're going to put a fate counter on Thragtusk. Okay, that's pretty cool. Verdant Catacombs. All right, so Pulse of Marasa actually increases their clock by 2 turns and lets us buy back a Field of Ruin. That's interesting. But I think what we'd rather do here is just start making wolves. And we'll play that fetch land so we can hold up trophy in case that makes sense, but giving them a land would be awkward. They've got Stirrings. They've got Tower. Okay. Yeah, we're just repeatedly chumping here. Not going to trophy anything. They have Karn and Ugin in hand. Yeah, let's make wolves. And I'm going to buy back a field here. Play the field, we're going to draw a step. Hit the tower with it. Just thinning out their lands in general is pretty good here too, to be honest. We really hope they're only like a 3 basic deck. Once again, I don't think I'm supposed to trophy here in case they play more basics, which they may very well. Another Thrag. Okay, well now my Maelstrom Pulse is a thing, but Phyrexian Arena. Okay, yeah, we've gotta do that. We've got to do that stuff. So we're gonna pulse the Thrags. Now we have a couple 3/3s to deal with. So I guess we just kill one of them with Garruk. It's better than making a wolf to chump and just losing Garruk anyway. So Garruk has done some work here, for sure. Phyrexian Arena will do some work. And let's see where this gets us. They're at 30 life. What a game. I mean, this is really this is really cool regardless, right? Here comes a Wormcoil. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Our Deglamour has been used. Alright, Phyrexian Arena, show us the love. Show us the love. Fulminator Mage, Tireless Tracker. Those are some good ones. Those are some very good ones. Alright. Make a clue. Yep, definitely playing Fulminator. And I don't think we can risk them just having a 7th land, so we're just going to destroy a land now. And it's going to be the Sanctum. We can realistically outgrind them here. We're going to have to trophy the Worm Coil, though. Spatial Contortion, that's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. See if they have a 4th forest in their deck. I think 4 is standard, but you see 3, you see 5. They do have a 4th. That is bad for us. But we're going to draw 3. We're going to see 3 cards next turn at least. Taziger, Blooming Marsh. Okay, Taziger is an interesting one. Blooming Marsh is not. Let's draw a card. Another Blooming Marsh. Well, darn. Okay, so clearly playing Taziger, can we buy back anything relevant? That we have so many spells in the yard, so we want to just leave lands, basically. So we don't want blackmail. Well, I mean, blackmail's fine, but I think we just need trophies here, kind of. And Pulse is what we need. So get rid of Garrick. Get rid of Shadow of Doubt. So much of this is good. Get rid of Traverse. Get rid of what is the, I guess, Pulse of Marasa is the least appealing of what remains. Then we have to do this. So I think activating here is fine. Holding up Hissing Quagmire is interesting, but we're not facing lethal quite yet, so we'll take our chance to activate while the coast is relatively clear. Oh, we're actually just dead on board to our own Phyrexian Arena, but the opponent doesn't necessarily know that we don't have anything else in hand, so maybe they'll give us like a Collective Brutality back. Yeah, this is, yeah, I guess I should have realized that, but you know, I don't know if we could really do anything differently. Good play from the opponent. Just giving us duress. We'll use it. We'll take a Karn or an Ugin, or All Is Dust. They're all pretty bad. Let's take All Is Dust. Oh, they just have 2 Ugins. Yeah, we're dead on board. Let's hope they don't see it and they don't attack for some reason, but we are dead to our own arena. Good game. Good game. We almost beat Tron, guys. We've had 3 pretty bad matchups. And we're playing a Highlander deck, and we are still 2-1. So, I'll take it. I'll take it for sure. Alright, let's face something favorable, shall we? Like, we've run the gauntlet. We've proven that even with Highlander, we're hanging with the big boys with the tough matchups. Throw me a bone here, matchmaker, alright? Let's play against something where a lot of my spice is relevant. Like, you know what might be cool as humans, because what are they going to do? Name something with Meddling Mage and lock us out? I don't think so. You know, and we've got a lot of kill spells. Not that humans is a favorable matchup per se, but it's a fine one. It's definitely more even than the ones we've seen thus far. You know, something like Burn would probably be fine. We've got main deck Finks. We've got the Pulse of Marasa and Life Goes On the side. We've got the Spice. We're only playing 1 Bob and 1 Thoughtseize, so we don't have as many actively bad cards. Yeah, let's play something that's a little bit more to our liking. But I hope you guys are enjoying this. This has been very fun so far for me, playing something totally off the wall like this. Off the beaten path. We're winning all our die rolls, that's cool. And this hand is good. 'Tis a keep. And I don't know I assume we're probably going to need to do something with that traverse rather than just go get a basic right now. So, Island Serum Visions. Oh, well, you know, looks like another control deck. Yeah, it could be a few other things. Could be Storm, could be Phoenix, whatever, but let's hope they fetch next turn. We're just going to blow them out with Shadow of Doubt. They're going to scoop. Steam Vents. That is not a fetch land. Pyromancer Ascension. Alright, well, it's probably Phoenix. Do we want to... Yeah, we're going to cycle our Shadow here. Okay. I think we just have to pulse away that Ascension on sight. Phoenix is theoretically a fine matchup. Of course, Highlander is very inconsistent, and our inconsistency might get punished by the most consistent deck in the format, just about. But, yeah, a couple opts already. Boy, am I glad I pulsed that Ascension. In the past, I have, in similar situations, played a Lily of the Veil. Although it wasn't exactly the same, I was choosing between trophying the Ascension, which ramping them is not great, and all that, but still. Okay, interesting. So, Lily is awesome here as always, but I don't think we pass up this window for 2 clues. Alright. We've got some alright tools in hand, for sure. We're almost certainly casting a Planeswalker of some kind next turn. If that gets countered or removed or something, it could turn on... Oh, this is just Storm. Really thought it was Phoenix. Pyromancer, Ascension, main deck, and Storm. I guess it's becoming more common, right? But repealing a clue and then grape shotting for value. Yeah, that's pretty good, but I'm just glad they didn't go off. I was going to say I'm fairly punished for not playing the Lily, but as it turns out, it's okay. So what we're going to do is Liliana tick up. We're pitching Cast Down here. Not only is removal the least exciting thing in our hand, it also cannot even kill Baral. So we'll pitch Cast Down. They pitch Pyretic, sure. Then we have Delirium, so we're going to traverse. And I don't know what we need here. We've got the Toolbox of Dreams, so we could get Goyf for the best clock. We could get Scooz, which is a really good disruptor, especially game 1 before they have Empty the Warrens. We could just get a huge bomb. Yeah, we don't want a huge bomb like Ishkana. Alright, so it's either Scooz or Goyf. And I think I am just going to get Scooz here. We've got the lands to leverage it pretty well. Alright, let's see how far that gets us. Blackmail. Blackmail is an exciting draw. We're going to lead off on that. They've got exactly 3 cards in hand, so we're going to see their whole hand, and we're going to take anything away. Even if they've got 3 lands, we get to get a card out of their hand. They scoop to the Blackmail. Blackmail OP. Guys, we're doing it. We're winning all kinds of games with this absolute crazy deck. Now we've got 2 chances to beat Storm. We just have to win one of the 2 post-side matches. This is a pretty favorable matchup. Again, our deck is maybe not as favored as we might hope compared to a regular one, right? But we've got some stuff to do, so... I wonder if we want Gaze of Granite for their tokens. That I don't know. We can put it in the maybe board with Fulminator. It will depend on how bad everything is. Choke is normally okay, but, you know, again, we might have enough bad stuff that we just bring all of this in. But we certainly bring in Duress, Damping Sphere, Grafdigger's Cage, Surgical Extraction. Don't think we want any of this green stuff, really. Don't think we want any of that. Okay, and we don't want Ghost Quarter, so we've got 4 yeses and 3 maybes. I think Ishkana is too clunky here. Shriekmaw is pretty bad. They're probably going to board out some number of their bears anyway, expecting a normal Golgari deck with a lot of fatal pushes. Joke's on them, right? I don't know if we cut Disfigure because it can kill Electromancer but not Baral. That's pretty bad. We probably do cut that. Lily the Last Hope is pretty bad, but do we have worse things? I like Garruk here, I guess. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff that's pretty medium. Shadow of Doubt kind of counters Gifts Ungiven. Let's cut Cast Down. Alright, let's... All of our 1-drops that remain are pretty fine. Maybe Funeral Charm doesn't do enough, but it's discard. I don't know. We'll leave it in. So let's cut some Clunk. We're going to cut Last Hope. We're going to cut Heretical Healer. We're going to bring in... I guess we're bringing in Gaze of Granite, and we can make one more cut. Which, I mean, Decay and Trophy are both pretty bad. Let's cut Trophy. I guess we just leave Decay because we saw Pyromancer's Ascension. I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay, so opponents choosing the draw. I don't know how common that is with Storm. I'm going to keep. We've got our Monodork turn 1. What could go wrong? Realistically, though, given our 60, this hand's fine. The Honored Hierarch. It's a too bad this isn't just an actual Monodork, because then we could have turn 2 choke, right? But we're going to attack, of course. We get the Renown, and then the big question is, do we traverse just for a basic land? We don't technically need one because we have Vigilance there, but if they bounce her or bolt her or something, I think we just definitely need to play our choke next turn, so I'm gonna traverse. Go get a forest. This is fine anyway. In general, we have a lot of big clunky cards in this deck that we will need to cast at some point. This way we can also, like, if they don't play a threat here, we can... Alright, they are abrading her. Sweet. Well, we get to choke them out. Boy, am I glad I traversed for a basic land, my friends. Here comes the choke. I bet they wish they didn't take the draw now. We do have Surgical to be mindful of. The opponent's playing it out. I wouldn't have been that surprised at a scoop, but they, of course, have some non-island sources like that, and we haven't shown them a clock yet, and to be fair, we don't have one, so... Alright, we're drawing pretty live, though. Most of the stuff that's still in our deck is pretty good here, even if it's not as optimal as as other cards might be. We hope to fade land drops. We don't want them to make land drops. They are. Okay. Steam Vents Shocked In. Sure. Well, all we're doing is hitting land drops, and we don't want that. But now we can cast it all. Anything we draw is castable, huh? Alright, if they got a bounce spell for this choke at some point, we could easily lose this. I could have fetched to thin on the end step, but, you know, they could have Blood Moon, I suppose. Probably not, actually. They haven't shown me fetches, so... And I've got to remember I'm not really drawing to that many reasons to have kept a fetch uncorrect, so... Funeral Charm. Well, that's not very good at this stage, which is why I considered siding it out. Its windows of efficacy are pretty narrow. The opponent is just making all their land drops. That's very bad for us, considering that Choke was the big appeal to keeping this hand without a threat, and also the big appeal, without a threat besides the Honored Hierarch, and also the big appeal to traversing when we did, but hey. Alright, well, we've got all the reactive cards we could ever need. I wish we had Shadow of Doubt in hand to blow out an end-step gifts here that they're probably going to go for. Yep. Oh yeah, the repeal, even better. Okay, you got it. You know, we've got a lot of good reactive cards here, still. You know they're going to go for something now. There's the Barrel, sure. Okay, we have to push here. Or do we just decay? I think we just decay. Can't be countered. If they've got another one, we've of course got push. We've got catch-up cards if they make Empty the Warrens tokens. We've got Surgical to compete over the graveyard. Like, if we've just had a threat this whole time, we would be in such good shape. There's another Baral, sure. And once again, we will kill him, or attempt to. Alright. They're putting a lot of stuff together. Empty. You got it. We can beat that. That's a very good Empty the Warrens, but we can beat it. Okay, so do we Golgari Charm or do we untap and Pulse? I think we Charm so that we can choke next turn, but because we know they play Pyromancer's Ascension, there would be a reason to hang on to the Charm. Of course, Pulse can kill it, but it's a sorcery speed answer. But yeah, we'll Golgari Charm here. Skin Shifter, okay. That's a threat, I guess. So, choke, Skin Shifter. I might have just played the Funeral Charm here as well if I'd had the open mana, but I don't, so I won't. I'd rather play my 1/1. And they're choked again. They're choked pretty badly, in fact. They've continued to hit a lot of lands, but they've mostly been islands. Sleight of hand. Alright, my friends. This is... this is interesting. Lightning Bolt the Skin Shifter, sure. Alright, we're back to needing a threat. Come on, threat. Planeswalker or creature, please. Please, deck. Show me the goods. Duress. Well, that's okay. We'll cast it. Pieces, Pyromancer Ascension, Serum Visions. This is a really, really tough one. All three of these cards are tough to beat. But maybe we just leave them... Pieces of the Puzzle is the one I want to take the most, but it's also the one they can't cast yet with Choke. Maybe we have to hope... Maybe we have to leave them the Ascension, right? Leave them the Ascension. Kill it with Maelstrom Pulse. So we'll take Pieces even though they can't cast it yet. And we'll also hold off on our Funeral Charm for the moment. There's the Ascension, sure. So I think I'm going to end step Funeral Charm, make them decide what to do before they know they're going to lose their Ascension. They lose that Serum Vision, so they have one unknown in hand. Nile Spellbomb is a good draw. I'm going to lead on that. I'm still probably just going to Pulse the Ascension, but I might not quite have to this turn anymore. Ooh, Skoos. Yeah, I think we still Pulse this because we want to play Skoos with open mana to keep it alive, so I can buy that. And we've got Surgical still. Alright, I mean, opponent's finding pretty good stuff considering our choke and considering other factors, but we're still in a pretty good position. They went top. That's a little scary. Okay, so we're going to go Skoos, Quagmire, and then I guess we're going to try to play around a Braid by eating things main phase here. Try to get to a 4/4. Okay. All right. We've got the goods. We've got the Grave Hate, we've got the choke, we've got the clock. Our clock cannot be bolted or a braid, but it can be flame slashed. Come on, guy. That's insane. All right, we're back to needing a threat. Well, we have Hissing Quagmire now, I guess. Yep, you got it. What a game. What an interesting game. All right, they have another Shivan Reef, so they're getting out of the choke a little bit more. Verdant Catacombs, bad draw, but the 6-turn clock is on. And we'll sandbag that Catacombs for the moment. We have used our Charm and our Pulse, and we're not playing with EE, so we might be pretty rough against another Empty the Warrens, as I was just about to say, and now they have one. Okay. Come on, deck. Show me something good. Show me a very powerful card. Very powerful card. Blackmail is not it. Dang. Alright, so now we're on the defensive. I don't want to trade Quagmire for 2 goblins. They top deck Pyromancer Ascension. Yep, that's pretty good. We top deck Forest. There's not even any overgrown tomb to thin out our deck with of... So yeah, we'll just pass. Alright, Treetop Village, that actually makes me kind of want to trade off here. So maybe the opponent will think we're getting a little desperate. Maybe we should Blackmail first. Let's cast Blackmail. It's a good time for it anyway. Even if it's just a land, we at least get to take it away. Okay, Desperate Ritual, sure. So let's attack with the Quagmire. Now that we have another manland, I'm kind of happy to either get a little damage through or force a trade. Okay. You got it. That's a smart block. Sending all 4 in front of it. Even though we have Death Touch that does not kill more than we can assign damage to legally. Okay, they're officially out of choke range. But they also can't block our Treetop Village profitably, so they're just going to race, which makes sense. We still have the Surgical as a failsafe. Lily of the Veil, that's a fine one. That is a fine one for sure. So All it is an edict, but, you know, I'll take it. Okay, there she goes. And they have another land. Alright, at this point the land drops are good for me. Grafdigger's Cage, that's a fine one. That is a fine one. Okay, the attack, sure. Kalidas, sweet. Let's attack with the village. Okay, opponent goes down to 1. We play the Kalidas, and we have Surgical in hand, so... Empty the Warrens is a sorcery? Okay. So I'm going to let them resolve this opt and then... you know what? I should have surgicaled in response, I think. Really should have surgicaled empty in response. But they're just scooping. Okay. Yeah, so maybe a little bit of a misplay at the end there. I was just going kind of on reactive mode, but that was probably a good window to surgical the empties, because that's how they could have put together a little bit of a stand, potentially. And I don't think they can... Yeah, anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Got there. Guys, this is very impressive, I have to say. This is the performance of this deck. Definitely would have been pretty pumped to go like 2 and 3 here with a couple of decent performances in our losses. Instead, we are 3 and 1. So we've not only cashed the league with Highlander, we are playing for the 4 and 1. And again, it's been a lot of bad matchups. Storm was our first good matchup. And yeah, let's hope for another good matchup here. And we've won the die roll every time, so it's just meant to be... This hand's fine. This hand's fine. It's a keep, and I think it's going to be the same type of situation where we don't seem to need the turn 1 traverse. So we will just pass and use that as some late game tutor action in theory. Therefore, we will run out Verdant Catacombs. Oh no, it's another Tron match. Come on. Tron is putting such a damper on our fun. And Tron kept 7, so I don't know what that tells us, but it's probably nothing good. Okay, so the fact that they went mine into Star actually means that there's a good chance they're leaning on a Sylvan Scrying. So even though Collective Brutality is kind of a bad card in the matchup, we definitely play it here, and because we're drawing nothing good, we are just going to escalate as well, drain them for 2. Get rid of, I guess, Swamp. Okay, of course they have double Sylvan Scrying, so we, you know, can't catch a break. That was the right play. We in theory had an unusual answer to a Tron 7, but of course they just had a redundant copy, so we are pretty dead. Because they get to scry for the missing Tron piece here. Then they have turn 3 Wormcoil into turn 4 Ugin. And we have nothing. Just literally drawing lands. So I guess our plan here is to top deck some things that are probably not in our deck. Yeah, I think we're just dead. Oh, they found a Karn too. Even better. You got it. The Worm Coil was not enough. The Ugin was not enough, so we'll pretty freely pitch a... I guess we'll still hang on to the fetch just in case. Pretty freely pitch a land there in general, though, and untap Pulse the Karn. Shriekmaw. Yep. Still no Delirium. And to be fair, you know, we're not going to get Delirium consistently with our deck like this. Mishra's Bauble would have been a pretty free inclusion here, but again, like I said earlier, not really trying to buy pricey cards that I didn't already have. I didn't mind picking up like a 1 cent Deglammer, or even a, what are some things I got that were like $1 or $2? Whatever, it doesn't matter. You know, I picked up stuff that was 1 tick, 2 ticks, but didn't really want to pick up the $20 Mishra's Bauble simply for this league. Sad to say. Ishkana Graph Widow. Alright. Yeah, we're dead. They still have Worm Coil. Okay, and this league's gone on long enough, I won't just play it out for no reason. So, the opponent thinks we're on a normal Tron build because they haven't seen any of our spice. So, I can't really say that works to our advantage, because it would be better, of course, if we were just on a regular build, right? But it does mean that we might have a few surprises in store for the old OP. So we definitely brought in these 4. I don't really know that anything else was all that relevant that we decided on in game 1 besides the Duress. And of course, Deglammer, that's it. Yeah, so 6 in. Feels correct. And we decided to leave in our Fatal Push. Let's continue along that line. So we'll pitch some Lilianas. Not Lily of the Veil, but some other ones. Ishkana's too slow. Shriekmaw's pretty bad. I don't know if this is exactly what I did game 1, but Nile Spellbound doesn't really do anything. Okay, I think we cut the cast down as well, so what do we want to bring back in? Maybe Ishkana's fine if we're disrupting them off of Tron. And then trying to, like, win through Thragtusk and Thought-Knot Seer. Okay. Let's see if we can do the impossible and beat Tron twice post-board with a Highlander deck. I don't think we're going to, but we're going to give it a shot. We're going to give it a real shot. This is a hand with Fulminator Mage. I believe we kind of have to keep it. It's honestly an okay hand overall as well. We've got that turn 1 Honored Hierarch. And the opponent's got that Mull down to 4. Will they stay at 4 or will they go to 3? Well, Tron can still beat us on a very low mulligan, but Honored Hierarch, pass to you. What a sweet card. This is the type of card that I saw at the kitchen, what I would have seen in my kitchen table days and been like, this card's so good. The value is so huge, and to be fair, the value is pretty huge, but of course it's just the abilities kind of work at cross purposes a bit. That said, it's going to be good for us here. Actually, very good, because it begins our clock nice and early. It also allows us to play Grimflayer this turn, and then next turn we can get in for 4 and play Fulminator Mage even if we don't draw an untapped land. So, look at this curve out. Honored Hierarch into Grimflayer can't be beaten. It really can't. We got Skin Shifter for backup too. GG. Alright, so let's attack first. Here's our trigger, and what does it show us? Garruk, Abrupt Decay, Swamp. I don't really think we need any of those. I think we just bin them all, and then we can buy one of them back with Witness if we need to. Let's just see other cards. Let's just play a Fulminator Mage. And we'll upkeep Stone Rain them. Power Plant was the second one they played, so it's the one we'll hit. Okay, they have a Mine. We have Field of Ruin. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, so once again we'll attack first. The clock is significant here. Alright, we see Shadow of Doubt is spicy here, actually. But... oh, you know what? This doesn't matter. I should have fielded first if I was going to. And I think I kind of have to. So, whatever. We'll just bin... I guess we're going to leave Shadow of Doubt around. Leave it in our deck, basically. But we do have to field here, so that was my mistake. And I guess we might as well just field now so that we can do something else main phase. Oh, and you know what we can do is Witness to buy back Fulminator. How good is that? It's so good that I almost didn't want to show them it. Because now they're going to come prepared for all this graveyard stuff game 2, right? But our game 3. Guys, we took a game off of Tron again. I'm happy. I'm happy. Yeah, no changes. Let's get this league over with, and let's try to finish it 4-1. What a good curve out. Honored Hierarch, Grimflayer, Fulminator Mage into Field of Ruin plus Eternal Witness buying back Fulminator Mage. I believe that was our curve. Man, the jank is too strong. The jank is way too strong. Alright, so we have... opponent keeps 7, that's terrifying. But we don't really... like, what are we mulling to on the draw? 1 Ghost Quarter and 1 Assassin's Trophy to disrupt them. I don't think we can justify throwing back a Bob into Lily hand. Remember that we're only playing 1 each of Bob and Lily, so it's not an everyday occurrence that we see both Bob and Lily, right? Looks like they've got another turn 2 Sylvan Scrying with a double Tron land, and we draw another Blooming Marsh, so we're probably dead. Probably dead, but Tron will do this to us. Yeah, I guess we could have mulled to Hand Disruption too, but again, we don't have that much of it in this Highlander list. Okay. Kind of got a top deck a Ghost Quarter or a Trophy to stay in it, and it's just more lands, of course, so this might be the end of the run for us, my friends. This might be the end. Maybe they don't have a payoff, but doubtful. Spatial Contortion. That's not a payoff, but it's an answer. O-Stone. Yep, okay. O-Stone into Star. Alright. Well, we can draw nothing but lands. So, and of course, they're not good lands. They're not Ghost Quarter, they're not Field, they're not more man lands, because I think we started with both treetops. So, even if this was a stock list, this level of Flood against Tron keeping 7 on the play, not something we're going to win. Okay, so they crack the Star. Now, worst case scenario, they can crack the O-Stone, and we're in top deck wars where they have Tron assembled. But they might be able to do even better. Wormcoil Engine. Alright, come on, Deglamor. Come on, Deglamor off the top. Funeral Charm. Okay. Well, I guess we just empty their hand out. And we're going to lose our Lily. Okay, another Spatial Contortion. Then we'll Funeral Charm the opponent. We could play Treetop and plan to block, or play a land and plan to block with our existing Treetop, but they've got O-Stone anyway. Maybe we're actually supposed to do that, though, force them to crack O-Stone. Sure. Unless, of course, they want our Liliana to live, which could be a way back in the game for us, but, of course, probably won't be. Relic. Okay. It's pretty good for them. It shuts off some of our value plays while being a redraw, which they can really afford with all the Tron stuff, so... Yeah, we've got to throw away a Treetop Village here, I guess. At least we've got no shortage of lands. Alright, so did they just O-Stone the Lily now, or are they going to map? They do nothing. Alright. Well, now we might as well Edict. Yep. Tron stuff. Then we pass. Probably not out top decking Tron for sure at this point. Okay, end step map. Sanctum of Ugin is probably the fetch. They don't have green. Oh, Buried Ruin, that's pretty good too. So first they get the Ruin, then they can get back the map and get more lands, but of course they'll probably just get back Wormcoil Engine. Okay, they're both coming at her. It's a good safe attack. Okay, Ruin buying back Wormcoil. Yup. Alright, we're just about dead. See if we top deck a miraculous answer. It is a Verdant Catacombs. You got us, Tron, you got us. Well, of course it's Tron that spoils the party. Of course it is Tron. So, you know what, guys? We just played a Highlander deck. A budget Highlander deck, kind of, because I didn't want to buy Mishra's Bauble, or Bitter Blossom is another one I almost bought. And, we went 3-2, and we were against 4 out of 5 bad matchups. We faced Tron twice, we faced Blue-White Control, and we faced Amulet Titan. The only good matchup was Storm, and we absolutely got there. So let's behold the beauty of this Highlander list. It was a lot of fun, playing a lot of spicy cards, and honestly coming away with a respectable result, to say the least. So I guess once again we'll go ahead and open that chest. See what we ended up with here. Hopefully something suitably janky. Well, there's that Hornet Queen. This will be our trophy for having defeated Amulet Titan, because that's their best card against us post side. So now we got a Hornet Queen on our side. Life is good. We've got a Mad Rush Cyclops too, and 5 play points. All right, cool. So that was a really fun change of pace. I hope you guys liked it. I certainly enjoyed playing it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I am going to go back and do at least one other competitive league this month, but I really was feeling the change of pace because I kind of just want War of the Spark to come out. I want to test a few cards, and speaking of which, keep your eyes on the channel, stay tuned, because I'm going to do a breakdown of the spoilers. Now that the full spoiler's out, I'm going to give you my thoughts on that coming up here in the next, probably the next day, probably tomorrow. So there you have it, my friends. Golgari Highlander. I hope you enjoyed this change of pace, and we, a lot of these cards put up a really respectable showing. So, thank you for watching. Thank you once again to everybody who is supporting me on Patreon, who is subscribed to the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, that's a great way to help the channel grow. And welcome once again to our newest patrons. We have the Joe Cheney, and we have my good friend Nate Cosentino. So thank you so much, my friends, for watching. Let me know what you thought. As always, about the sideboarding, the lines, obviously there's a lot that's off the beaten path here, a lot that's off of our normal radar, but we made it happen with a very janky list. So thanks again for tuning in, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments below. I will talk to you soon. Hope you have a great day.